shaping a fair world order, and this is an ongoing process. And in Kazan we have one of the major events dedicated to that, our traditional event, Kazan Summit, and we have a lot of foreign guests and our well-known and distinguished guests of Iran. We have a very close friendship and we have great plans for the future. And today with us we have Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs for Political Issues of the Republic of Islam, Ali Bagheri, the Governor of Ulianov region, Mr. Alexei Ruskich, Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary Ambassador of Islamic Republic, Jalali Kazan, the chairman of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry from Tatarstan, and deputy of the Department of Development of Bilateral Cooperation from the Ministry of Economic Development of Russia, Mr. Pavel Kalmachek. Also, we will be joined by Deputy Minister of Tatarstan, Mr. Koropchenko. Dear friends, at the beginning of our session, I'd like to give the floor to Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs for Political Issues from the Republic of Islam, Ali Bagheri. Please, the floor is yours. I'm very glad that I have this opportunity to be here with you today and to give my speech at such an important economic event that is a symbol of the intention of the leaders of our countries in order to have a strengthened relationship between Russia and the Islamic Republic of Iran. Iran and Russia have very long history of cooperation, and in recent years we've observed serious changes in the relationships between our countries. And that has laid a very good foundation and prospects for the development of bilateral cooperation, both on the international agenda and on regional level. Participation of Russia and Iran in international mechanisms and organizations like Shanghai Cooperation Organization and political institutions that are in charge of observing security issues, also the participation in BRICS organization, which is a full-fledged economic organization. And secondly, there are two symbols and two interesting manifestations of cooperation and interaction. It demonstrates a very good synergy because we were able to establish a new world order that will be based on justice. And a very important message of this new world order is to ensure justice in all the world. And Iran and Russia have demonstrated their goodwill in their cooperation, and they intend to strengthen the existing relationship based on mutual respect and independence. Today, at this forum, we are discussing these important matters, and this is the task that has been set for us. It lies on our shoulders, the representatives of the economic sector and private sector, and also the representatives of the state structures and the government. Today, we need to interact with each other we also need to engage other countries in our cooperation so that other powers can adopt this rational, the right approach. Such countries as Brazil, South Africa, also India, and it can create a very good infrastructure for cooperation based on justice. And it will have very good prospects ensuring the well-being of all member states and countries. And I think it is worthy to note and mention the re-election of Mr. Vladimir Putin. I'd like to congratulate him on being re-elected, and I'd like to wish him that his new term will help us to strengthen our bilateral relationship and cooperation. Besides the development and strengthening of our ties and relations, we would like to specifically draw your attention to multilateral cooperation that also fosters the economic development of both countries. Once again, I'd like to reiterate and extend my gratitude to organizers and participants of this important international event that is being held now in the Republic of Tatarstan. And I'd like to emphasize that the Republic of Iran and our embassy in the Russian Federation and the Consulate of Iran in the Republic of Tatarstan are joining their efforts and unlocking all their potential in order to utilize all the existing means to eliminate all the hurdles and barriers for the development of our cooperation so that we can open new pages in the relations between our countries. In recent years, the quantitative and qualitative characteristics of our relations have improved greatly, and it shows the goodwill of both countries. And we need to carefully plan and also track down the progress of the projects that are being executed. These projects can become multilateral, and that will prompt the development of the relations between our countries. Then we will be able to utilize the potential of other countries in order to reach this high goal. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you, His Excellency. If you allow me a short question. Quite recently, we've learned that at BRICS summit that will take place in October 2024, it will be attended by the President of the Republic of Iran, Mr. Raisi. So do you expect something specific from the visit? Maybe you have already elaborated some plans of your country for this meeting, for this visit. As you well know, the Iranian representative, when our president met Mr. Putin, they talked about Iranian vision of relations between Iran and Russia. We have huge joint plans to be executed on the international agenda, on the international arena. Both countries That's why We can use international tools like a BRICS mechanism that will help us to execute all those intentions and put them into practice. Speaking specifically about BRICS, yes, we do plan to take part in this organization and in these events. We would like to unlock fully the potential inside BRICS countries and to convert that into our joint possibilities. And we can also, as I've mentioned before, engage other resources of other countries from those regions in order to foster a very efficient economic development. And then we will be able to observe fruitful results. We do think that BRICS is a very important nucleus and a very important engine for us of the collective goodwill of Iran, and it helps us to move towards this new world order based on justice. And in this regard, the forthcoming meeting and our presidential visit to the Republic of Tatarstan in the framework of BRICS activities is a very important event. It will have a defining significance. It will be very important, and it is our serious intention in our cooperation with Russia, because it will help us to ensure that it is a starting point for the improvement of relations between Russia, Iran, and BRICS countries. Yes, indeed, bilateral relations between Russia and China are gaining momentum, and I think that a very important part is being played by regional ties between our countries, also between leading constituent entities. And today with us we have Governor of Ulyanovsk region, Mr. Alexei Ruskich. Please tell us about the prospects of relations between the Ulyanovsk region and the Republic of Iran. Good morning, dear colleagues. Thank you very much for this opportunity to speak at this session. Indeed, Ulyanovsk region is actively developing our international cooperation with Iran. Iran is a strategic partner for us, and it is among leaders in terms of the commercial turnover that we have with our foreign partners. And I'd like to say that in recent years the volume of trade is growing, and we started establishing close contacts since 2005, and we host a lot of business missions from Iran, and in this year I plan to go to Iran, my personal visit. I have never visited this country, and I know that it is a very actively dynamically developing country. And as for commercial turnover, in 2023 has grown by 20% compared to 2022. Export has grown by 53%, and it is a very good indicator. And I'd like to also mention that we are developing the Volga and the Caspian Sea and the Persian Gulf transport corridor, and Iran here is one of the major participants of this transport corridor. We signed a contract with Povolzhia and also the Republic of Tatarstan and Republic of Mariel and Chuvash Republic about the preparation of the assembled cargo, and then it will go to the Persian Gulf and to India.
I'm absolutely confident that this forum is going to provide a full functional platform to develop our multilateral relations. I'm also accompanied by a great delegation, and we are going to develop business partnerships and a partnership across other areas of our activities this year and many years into the future. So as far as I know, the BRICS Youth Forum, as well as many other fora where the presidency of Russia is going to take place, well, indeed, the Iran has many more other representative offices apart from the embassy. There are lots of consulate generals, including one in Kazan. And now I would like to introduce the person who guides our daily relations. I would like now to give the floor to His Excellency Jalali Kazim, the plenipotentiary and emergency ambassador of the Republic of Iran in Russia. In the name of God, the most gracious and the most merciful, I would like to extend my gratitude to the organizers of this event on behalf of the Islamic Republic of Iran. These discussions are highly important for both countries. They're so important that the Deputy Minister of the Islamic Republic of Iran, who is the top second person in the ministry, His Excellency Bagheri, despite his packed schedule, has invested his time to participate in the Kazan Forum. Over the last years, we have been observing development in the relations between the Islamic Republic of Iran and Russia. One rationale is pretty historical, and we are neighbors with Russia. Neighbors are those who you do not choose, but we should follow the route to develop friendly relations. And our relations are efficient and fruitful. The second reason is the common approach that our two countries are developing. Those include the daily and the new activities to reinforce our partnerships. The Islamic Republic of Iran has always been against unfaithful world orders and injustice that are taking place. We would like to mainstream justice in international relations and faithfulness. And we are so happy that Russia has embarked on the same avenues. The approach of Russia regarding the West is based on establishing a multipolar world that has recently been reiterated by His Excellency Mr. Putin in his inauguration speech. He reiterated that Russia pursues development of relations with friendly countries. And we are so happy that these relations are being reinforced day by day. His Excellency Mr. Ravisi deems that the international avenues that we are following are in conformity with our national interests, and therefore these developments are the result of our daily efforts to enhance transparency and mutual cooperation on different level, embracing different levels of authorities. One of such projects is the international corridor north-south, and in this respect, the leaders of both governments expressed their will to develop this route. We are so happy to see that this project has three perspectives, and its eastern branch was launched in 2021. We have already attempted to do shipment using these logistics capacities, but the overall potential is 500 million tons a year. And in year 2024, we decided to increase the capacity up to 2 million tons per year. As for the other branch, via the Caspian Sea, we managed to deliver some 6 million tons of cargo, and I believe that we can also repeat the successful experience of increasing the logistics capacity up to 10 million tons. We believe that the Reshta-Stara route is yet a homework to be done, and we believe that in 2024, thanks to greater coordination and our mutual efforts, would we be able to finalize this route and include it into our capacities. I believe that there are going to be less problems regarding logistics, and this would boost our bilateral relations. Russia would be able to use the capacities of Iran as a storage hub to export its products. As for the relations with other countries, well, the main challenge is in banking. Today, businesses are confronted with huge challenges, but we believe that in the future we would be able to deliver on that. There is a task force that participated in numerous events to find solutions. As you know very well, there is a text messaging system launched between our two countries. On the other hand, we also aspire that in 2024, the Kazan and Khetap would have a connection, and we would be able to do international or cross-border money transfers. We have also expanded our cooperation in customs. We expect that we would be able to improve our results because we also use the capacities of third countries. For example, Turkmenistan or Kazakhstan, within the eastern branch of the corridors. For the middle branch, well, there we cooperate directly. And the western branch, there we have Azerbaijan as our co-partner. In terms of logistics, well, there are some failures. However, we must compensate on that and assist each other in transit, export, and import, as well as their further development. I believe that we should hope for the bright future. We've got excellent perspectives. The economic relations between our countries follow specific, very positive trends. And I would like to reassure you that we are going to eliminate all the constraints and challenges that impede our relations and cooperation. All the authorities and officials are ready to commit themselves to this task. Of course, always, well, there'll be some challenges, but there is a will. There is a huge will towards cooperation. Our relations with the Republic of Tatarstan are expanding, and we have large-scale plans for the Republic of Tatarstan. At the exhibition, you were able to see high-profile top companies of Iran and businesses that represent the private sector, the governmental sector as well, and we hope that in 2024 we would witness flourishing bilateral and multilateral relations with the Republic of Tatarstan. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for such a detailed presentation of contemporary Russia-Iran bilateral projects. In Tatarstan, we have the Consulate General of Iran, and therefore every year, traditionally, the Republic of Tatarstan hosts one of the greatest economic events. This is the Kazan Summit, the Federal Summit. Together with us is Oleg Koropchenko, Deputy Prime Minister of the Republic of Tatarstan and the Minister of Trade and Industry of the Republic of Tatarstan. Mr. Koropchenko, could you please provide some insights on the relations between the Republic of Iran and the Republic of Tatarstan? Distinguished colleagues, on behalf of the government of the Republic of Tatarstan, I'm happy to welcome you at the Jubilee 15th Russia-Kazan Forum, Russia Islamic World. And I'm so happy to welcome the delegation of Iran, which is the most numerous international delegation this year. Last year, there were over 150 members of Iran delegation, and yesterday I visited the Iran booth at the exhibition, as well as the Bank Meli, the Mir Bank. A great, excellent job done. I believe that the potential of our bilateral cooperation with Iran is huge. Iran has got 45 years of experience of living under sanctions, and when sanctions arrived to us, we were able to find an only solution, approaching to the Persians, our brother Persians, and to ask them to share their practices. And they shared their best experience with us. They're frank, faithful, absolutely transparent, and they let our businesses to come to Iran. I could never suspect how Iran structures financial transactions. And in all countries of Europe, can you find banks of Iran? And they run payments absolutely smoothly. How do they extract and refine oil? That's impossible. German companies that produce low tonnage chemistry, well, they go hand in hand with the manufacturers of Iran. If you can look at the equipment the Iran produced, that's so much efficient. Once we arrived to automotive factories producing 1.5 million of passenger vehicles, that's tremendous. I was absolutely stunned by that. Therefore, I believe that we must go on structuring our relations.
And we are constantly organizing business missions to Iran, and we meet on all the levels. In February, we met the distinguished president of the Republic of Iran, Mr. Raisi, and also the Ministry of Oil and representatives of the mechanical engineering industry. And we agreed upon the execution of many projects, our KAMAZ, Tatneft companies. I will not enumerate all the companies that interact with Iran. Today we are facing a small problem. We are lacking ships in order to ensure the proper logistics, but on the level of the Ministry of Industry and Trade, we will subsidize the purchase of ships. They won't be new ships, but they will help us to resolve those logistical issues. This year, from one of the port, we sent 10 ships towards Iran with grain and other products. So we are getting back on track. The prospects of our joint work between Russia and Iran, as I've mentioned before, is huge. And now we have the panel session dedicated to the transport corridor, south-north, where all the logistics will be structured through the Volga and the Kama River into the Caspian Sea, and then go into the ports of Iran to Bandar Abbas, and then we'll have a direct access to all the Middle East countries and Tajikistan, and it is a huge turnover and volume of trade that can be executed. Dear colleagues, all of you who haven't visited Iran, I'd like to invite you to go there. It's a delicious, diverse country. It's a very different country in terms of its regions. Isfahan is a very beautiful city. It is a real masterpiece, and the Persian culture, it is so ancient and it is quite similar to our Turkish culture. So I recommend it definitely to all of you. We have also cultural exchange. Many Iranian students, they study here, and young generation is our contribution to the future development and strengthening of our relations. And I'd like to say that we have multiple areas for our bilateral interaction. I'd like to extend my gratitude to our consul that is working hard, one of the most efficient consuls on our territory, the representative of the Republic of Iran, and he's helping us to develop petrochemical industry, mechanical engineering industry, the education. So our task is to help in all the directions, to help businessmen, and I'd like to call you for working together with the counterparts from Iran, and there are many Iranian entrepreneurs who are working with companies from Tatarstan. Thank you for coming here. Thank you for bringing such a large delegation, and I hope that the Ministry of Trade, Mr. Alibadi, will come here again, because there is a number of projects that has to be promoted in mechanical engineering, in petroleum industry. So Mr. Shakadzai is expected to come here in August at our Petroleum and Petrochemical Forum. Thank you very much. Thank you, Oleg. And as far as I know, in Kazan, you have an Institute of International Relations, and there are students who are studying Persian language there, and it does have also a huge interest towards it in young generation. They would like to establish and forge ties and connections, and the prospects are marvelous. Oleg Vladimirovich, I asked the same question to our distinguished guest, Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Iran. So you mentioned the forum, Petrochemical and Petroleum Forum in August, and in October there will be a meeting of the head of states of BRICS countries. It will be a new format for their meeting. About 1 year ago, even less than 1 year ago, they decided to expand the format. Maybe you have some expectations for October visit. I understand that Kazan is getting ready to it, and you are elaborating the plans, but maybe you have something ready already. Yes, in October we will have the expanded forum. We will have head of states of 40 countries coming to us. It's a very good indicator. We are moving in the right direction, and as of today we see the confrontation between the evil and the good, and we see the reshaping of all our cultural values, and we can recall what our previous generations taught us. There are some universal laws, and when we are tried to be moved apart from those laws, when they are suggesting that our children should choose their gender, not the God or parents who gave birth to them, they can make the decision whether they will be a girl or a boy in future. They want to move us away from the values that have been given to us by our parents, by the generations before us, that came before us. And when Mr. Putin and all Russia have said that we won't live according to these laws, we will have our laws that have been given to us by God. And I think that actually now all the other countries, they have woken up, and they recalled God's divine laws, when we are suggested that women will live with women, and then what will be left for men. And many countries have seen that, and they have said that Mr. Putin is right. And they stated that quite loudly, and almost all the Arabic countries, Iran and Asian countries are supporting us in that. They are rendering their support. And we say that there are universal cultural laws that we should live by. That's why I think that if BRICS will expand, it will be the right approach, and it will be in a very kind way for the good purposes. Thank you very much. Thank you, Oleg Vladimirovich. And I'd like to say that indeed very few people in Tatarstan don't know our next speaker, who has done a lot for the economic development and also cultural development of entrepreneurship, the Republic, Mr. Ageev, Mr. Shemelakeev, Doctor of Economic Sciences and Chairman of the Council of CCI of the Republic of Tatarstan. He is well known for making a lot for the Tatarstan and its development. It is one of the most successful constituent entities of the Russian Federation, thanks to him. Share your secret, please. I'd like to add, in the system of BRICS, they have business councils, and now it is headed by the president of the CCI of Russia. And now we are getting ready. And for that, there are issues that have to be addressed, and we have to join our efforts, and we say that a lot has been quite good, but as for the real effect, we haven't seen that as a good result. And a lot has been suggested in order to improve the situation. And there is a huge potential that has to be unlocked for Russia and Iran, and we only have utilized part of it. Logistical issues are being resolved, but very slowly. Customs issues are being resolved very slowly as well. There are some proposals that have been put forward, and we now have a new government in Russia that will hopefully help us with that, the training of students and education, and we are trying to improve this situation. It is a very important area that gives an opportunity for young generation to get to know each other, and we have to improve that both in Tatarstan and Iran. We have very close cooperation, and we will continue this work. So it's very important with our cooperation with the CCI from Tehran, but what are we lacking? The rate and the feedback, and I think that today's session, today's conference will help us with that. And when we had the meeting with our president, we mentioned that we are interested in building upon an excellent experience that Iran has had working under sanctions, because we haven't fully learned how to function under sanctions, and now we can't use the Chinese manner. We have to adopt the Iranian approach in terms of the production and manufacturing, and also training of the personnel. The prospects are quite clear, but we need to get more feedback, and we need to save time. We need to be strong, because if we are not strong, it will be quite difficult for us. And some approaches have been condemned, and Iran is an excellent country. I've visited it several times, and wonderful people are living there, and they develop in a very good way. I wish you flourishing and good prospects. Thank you very much. Thank you, Shamil Rahimovich. Thank you for identifying some bottlenecks that have to be improved and some hurdles that need to be eliminated. And I think that our meeting today will give an impetus for the development of our bilateral relations. And of course, we can't be talking about bilateral development of economic relations without the participation of the Ministry of Economic Development. And I'd like now to give the floor to Mr. Pavel Kalmachek, Director of Department of Development of Bilateral Cooperation of the Ministry of Economic Development of Russia. Thank you very much for the invitation to take part in this session. Iran is our friend, a very important partner for us, and I can say that Deputy Minister of the Foreign Affairs from Iran has already mentioned that we have a very fruitful political dialogue, and it has a positive impact on overall development of the ties. Since 2017, our commercial turnover has increased a lot, and more than 50 billion US dollars. That was a record high indicator. In 2022, there was a relative slowdown, but we hope that this year we will reach a brand new level. In this regard, Iran has become a country with which we signed an agreement on temporary trade, and it has been quite successful. In December 2023, in St. Petersburg, during the High Council of Eurasia, we signed the permanent trade agreement. Now we are undergoing procedures of the ratification, and I hope that in autumn the State Duma will ratify it. And unlike temporary agreement, it is a full-fledged agreement that will cover almost all our import and export, and there are some customs clearance issues, but we hope that in the framework of the permanent trade agreement, we will be able to resolve them. And of course, together with that, I'd like to note that on the federal customs level, we cooperate quite dynamically and actively, and we have economic operators and specific measures are being taken, and it will also positively impact the economic ties that we currently have with Iran. And this session and the neighboring session, a lot has been mentioned about logistical issues, about transport corridors, and in this regard, Iran serves as a locomotive for this agenda. And with great pride, we mentioned that in March we signed an agreement, railway construction and railway branch construction, and it is a breakthrough agreement indeed. It will help us to improve the volume and increase the volume of our cargo transportations, and here we have 3 routes, all 3 going through Iran, not only Rosh Hashanah, but more than 100 routes in the framework of the development of south-north transport corridor. And of course we will be increasing the flows, and we will be entering the Indian market and Southeastern Asian market, and together with our friends from Iran we will be looking towards other Asian countries, towards African countries, and these are the prospects that we are currently discussing with our friends from Iran. And as for the quality and dynamics of trade and creation of the regulatory framework, we see that we have this friendly dialogue that we have embarked on, and it will bear fruit. And I think that in the upcoming 1 or 2 years we will reach a new level in this matter as well. We are constantly improving institutes that are participating in our economic ties, CCI that has been mentioned before, and we see the active participation of our regions in that.
On top of that, we also see that the Chamber of Commerce has improved the efficiency, and His Excellency, the head of the Russia-Iranian Council, has spoken a lot about how our businesses work. So I cannot but agree that this is the key in our relations, because regrettably quite often we see very few experts in Farsi and Iran, and we are trying to rectify this situation. And I'm so happy to see younger experts very fluent in Farsi, and we should justly say that Iran has got extensive, great experience in how to withstand sanctions. So we would be happy to adopt this expertise and best practices. We believe that this expertise would help us to resolve all impediments regarding payments, because today the most part of our trade turnover is done in national currency, and we are actively implementing other financial instruments. We believe that we would be able to overcome all the limitations, whatever. As a secretariat, we would like to confirm that we've got a lot of trust in our mutual dialogues, and there is a lot of work to be done. We actively cooperate with the Oil and Gas Ministry, His Excellency Mr. Olgi, and other ministries. We are actively discussing projects regarding transport and energy. And the quality of this dialogue and the level of faith is very high. I believe that we would be able to deliver on all these problems And I believe that thus we would be able to increase our potential. As of 2022, an agreement has been enforced on visa-free travel, and our colleagues from Kafkas RF are actively working in this respect. I believe that we are going to have travels to both regional centers apart from large cities. And we are actively cooperating on federal levels as well as on the level of constituents, including the Republic of Tatarstan. And we are looking forward to mutual sustainability and development. Thank you, Pavel. Shamil Rakimovich wanted to add a word. Yes, we wanted to say that regarding tourism, so currently today we are having just 2 flights a week to Iran, but we could also have trips and air flights from Kazan to Iran as well, and that would be great. And I believe that this would make it even more cost efficient and would facilitate communication between businesses. Europe is shut down for us, US and Europe and other countries as well. So we believe that Russia should pivot Asia, and that's great. I'm so happy that this is going on. Thank you very much for your questions. Well, we've got 5 people dealing with Iran and the direction of Iran. We've got 1 expert who is very fluent with Farsi. And by the end of this year, we are going to have 2 more employees fluent in Farsi. We are going to develop international trade, and we are starting with establishing an expertise center in international trade. I'm a graduate of the Asia and Africa Institution, and we are continuously maintaining relations with the HR, and I believe that by next year we are going to have at least 3 people fluent in Farsi among our staff. As for the flights, you're absolutely right, because currently we are discussing the prices, and our colleagues from the aviation companies demonstrate that there are very many risks, lots of risks related to launching new directions of flights. But as a regulator, we can assist because we cooperate both with air companies as well as other companies, and we can facilitate cooperation. We can bring in contact our air companies with Iranian aviation companies so as to make it more cost efficient and more accessible to those who would like to visit Iran as tourists or as representatives of businesses. Hereby we understand that costs are all the essence, so we are trying to alleviate that. Thank you so much for your intervention. We are running a pilot project. Well, as for the number of flights, those are numerous, but aviation companies are so far fearful to enter this market, to enter this direction. So I believe that some small subsidy would be enough to help us embark on this new perspective. So if you're ready to discuss this, I'm going to provide you with contacts and approaches to air flight operators and airlines so that you could facilitate that and we could deliver on our objectives. Yes, we support absolutely. We join in terms of administrative subsidies, funding. We've got relevant programs running, and I believe that you will receive the subsidies that you are aspiring. Well, we need to have just talks with regional authorities and with federal governments. I mean, Farsi is not a language that you can learn in 2 or 3 years. It's a very complicated language. So we need experts in all the regions across Russia to be able to cooperate with Iran. Thank you so much. It's indeed great that we do have some fruitful results of this discussion. And Mr. Kondratiev has put it in a very right way. It would be great to have the Kazan airport as a pilot project. And in this respect, I've got a question to His Excellency Ambassador. Does Iran have companies that are interested in developing the regional grid of flights to Russia Federation? Thank you so much. Well, as for Iran, yes, and in Iran there are airlines that are looking forward to developing flights to Russia and from Russia. We have had ample discussions with the Russian Federation so as to make companies more actively embark on these projects. We could split our work so as to understand in what regions of Russia and Iran one can have flights. Well, for us, Iran and Russia is a priority, so we are looking forward to having direct flights. One of the Russian airlines expressed its preparedness to launch direct flights from Kazan to one of the regions of Iran. And 2 or 3 days ago, I talked to the Minister of Transport of the Republic of Iran so as to get more information regarding what can be done to restore direct air flights. We could restore these flights with Isfahan, Reshti, Brest-Shiraz, or to some islands or belonging to Iran in the Persian Gulf that can provide excellent weather conditions and environment to Russians. I mean, such islands as Chabahar or Kashim, and tourists from Russia could travel there in colder Russian winters. Iranians themselves rush there to find some rest there, so we can restitute direct connection with these islands. I should say that your country has more aircrafts. Naturally, Russia is much bigger than Iran, and if Russian airlines make it a priority to do flights inside, internal flights in Iran, well, we can provide all the infrastructure required for that. Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency Ambassador. Just one short commentary. As you know, the Persian Gulf is one of the most pleasant tourist destinations in Russia, and this is one of the most frequent questions about the Persian Gulf. Yes, but not Iran. So one of the most popular questions when tourists are choosing the destination in the Persian Gulf are beaches. So what are the beaches in Iran? And when our colleagues tell us, they say, yeah, the beaches are great, but the infrastructure is so far missing. Once there is all the necessary infrastructure, then Russian tourists would be happy to benefit of that, to enjoy their holiday there at best prices. Well, Definitely. As for the infrastructure, everything is ready. For example, the Kish Island has hotels, beaches to provide rest. You can swim there, and nature is excellent. But naturally, we need more hotels. We also welcome, I should justly say, if there are friends from Russia who are ready to invest in the construction of hotels in Iran. So we are ready to welcome such projects. We will provide all the necessary opportunities to allow our Russian friends to construct hotels. I know that some hotels in Turkey were built by Russians. And naturally, this is very feasible, economical, and profitable. And the same stands for infrastructure. The same can be done in Iran. We are ready to run projects invested by Russia and Russian businesses, and we will provide all the required support to help with the infrastructure. Thank you so much.
Oleg Vladimirovich, what do you think? Is Tatarstan ready for the execution of tourist projects? Well, at the time of our recent trip to Isfahan, I studied all the interesting locations on the map, and I also studied the air routes, and these are excellent locations and destinations. And of course, we have to prompt our businessmen to implement those projects, and we plan to take with us the representatives of business industries from the hotel and various types of accommodations, and we will look into the opportunities that exist on this market. And of course, when it is cold here, it will be great to get them to Iran. Even this year, during May holiday, we had snow, and many of us wanted to go abroad to have a vacation in a normal climate. Thank you. Distinguished speakers, dear guests, we still have some time in our session, and I can give you an opportunity for the audience to ask 2 or 3 questions, maybe 2, 3, 4 questions, and then we will finish the session. Analytical group from Gagrad magazine and newspaper 2020 from St. Petersburg, and I have a question to the representative of the federal government. And you mentioned a good phrase to explain to the business, but the essence of my question is the following. I would like to be delicate, but for several years, such Russian businesses as Sberbank, they are trying to do something with partnership finances, and in Tatarstan and other 3 regions, they have created very good conditions for Sberbank. But as for the results, I think you understand the current situation, and explaining to Sberbank, because Sberbank is a business, how can that be done? And we have an excellent stock exchange from Tehran, and it is growing quite fast. So why can't we, for example, open a representative office of Iran and its stock exchange in Kazan? Of course, it will entail not only some efforts, but some money as well. But maybe Mr. Graf can do that. How can that be resolved? Maybe artificial intelligence can be engaged in this operations. Can you explain that to large businesses and corporations, or maybe only to SMEs? Well, but this ministry is not related to in any way to Mr. Graf. So why are you asking me this question? It's a very specific question. Of course, you are right, but this question is not relative to our discussion, not related in any way. It's like going into the space. Why are you asking us about Mr. Graf? Pavel Alexandrovich, maybe you can comment on that? Well, I can say that we have on the Russian Federation stand, we prepared presentation materials, and it is right next to Sberbank stand, and I visited our colleagues working at the stand, and quite for a long period of time and with good expertise they were telling me about Sberbank products, what they have elaborated, what they have developed in the framework of new legislation for partnership finances and funding, and these are new products, and they were elaborated with very good understanding of the specificity of it, and we hope that it will be developed in future as well. As far as I know, Tinkoff has announced the launch of similar products, and we hope, and our colleagues from the banking sector will be helping us with the introduction of new tools. And of course, I understand that it is not related in any way to me, and we have colleagues from the central bank that are in charge of it. And now at the neighboring sessions, they are discussing those matters as well. Thank you very much for the comment and for the response. Are there any other questions, dear friends, to our distinguished speakers? And please introduce yourself. Deputy Minister of the Chairman of the Board from CCI from Tatarstan, Mr. Fortov. Our colleagues from Iran, they had an idea of establishing the trade houses. What are the plans in this regard? To His Excellency. Yes, in terms of the trading houses, we completely agree with this idea, and taking into consideration the regional development of cooperation between our countries on the level of the regions, we can implement those programs, and one of the examples is Astrakhan. We do have a trading house there in Kazan. The Consulate is working on that, is preparing the ground for it to be established here as well. And we can engage entrepreneurs from Iran, and then in the framework of trading house activities, it can help them a lot for their entrepreneurship activities in Kazan. Thank you. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Good morning. Kurush Damavani from Iran. Executive Director from Gularan Company, and I'd like to ask you the following question. It is related to export from Iran to Russia. The experience that I've had visiting Expo that we had during this event tells us that we can utilize all our potential in order to export organic products. But I'd like to draw the attention to the fact that when people came to us to hold negotiations, they didn't demonstrate their interest in import of the healthy food products, and it was quite clear. We mentioned our chips, and we try not to use some additives that will increase the shelf life of products, and it can help to preserve the products during 1 year, but of course it has a negative impact on the health of Russian residents. And of course we try to focus on the export of healthy food. This is our goal. And as for the export matters, some of the friends who came to us, these were entrepreneurs from Russia, and we can cooperate on the margin in the framework of the black market, and it can diminish the price, but we would like to do everything in accordance with the normal standards, and the export market in Russia is in the hands of specific people that we would like to engage in order to offer the Russian market the best products possible. And this is a kind of a mafia that exists here in Russia, and it moves us away from the Russian market. And we do face problems there. In Iran, we have a lot of companies that are interested in doing business, and this year they would like to participate more in foreign trade with Russia, but I'd like to reiterate that I saw here some entrepreneurs that are selling healthy food, but they say that entering this market is quite difficult. I have colleagues, friends representing various organizations, and I'd like to kindly ask you to help improve this process so that we can be competitive on this market, so that we can present our products on this market. We would like for you to ensure fair competition on the market. And I'd like to mention again that our goal and our task is to offer good quality healthy food, because for us it is very important to cooperate with our Russian colleagues, Russian companies. And we need to set specific standards, and we need to remove those representatives of mafia from there. I can respond to this question as a person in charge of trade and industry in the Republic. Of course, we would like to welcome high-quality food products from Iran. Also, mechanical engineering, production. When entrepreneurs come to me, we do everything possible to give them an access, and you can come to the consulate and present us with the catalog, and then we can help you establish and forge the connections, and you will enter the market without any problem. So as far as I understand, it can be done through the general consulate. Yes, in terms of establishing contacts, that is the best way. Because any product entering the Russian markets, it should be recorded in the consulate. The procedure should be totally transparent, so that the Russian party can confirm it, and it should be fully official without any problem. Any other comments to this question? One last question, and then we will conclude the session. I'd like to extend the gratitude to the organizers of this event, and to thank the Russian Federation and the government of the Republic of Tatarstan for organizing this expo of halal products here. This has been organized for the Muslim representatives, and I'm representing a manufacturing enterprise in Iran. For 10 years, I have been working here in Russia, and we are distributing food products also in some chains like Perekrostok, Pitorichka, Seven Steps, and other shops. The atmosphere between Russia and Iran that has been established, as it has been mentioned by the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs and Mr. Ambassador, we need infrastructure in place in order to be more congenial between our countries. And we don't have enough information about each other, about the events that are being organized and held in Russia. And the participants of the exhibition do not trust us, and they do not believe that it is being produced in Iran.
Therefore, we are looking forward to have specific conditions that would ensure that we are politically, culturally, and socially in greater proximity to one another. Therefore, I would like to address to the participants and the distinguished speakers to facilitate the arrival of appropriate terms, more comfortable terms, to get the necessary permissions, the visa, and all other documents. Because my colleagues have already been confronted with some challenges. Therefore, I believe that there should be some green corridor, likewise it was with European countries. I believe that here we mean not only customs, but also visa permissions, so that Iran businesses could benefit from these opportunities and this infrastructure and get some support, considering the geography and the type of product produced, so that to allow Iran to export to Russia. Thank you very much for your time. I'm grateful to the Consulate. Well, comparing with last year, we see that there is a lot of progress comparing to this year, thanks to great efforts to ensure successful participation of Iran, and we are looking further to fruitful and valuable cooperation. Thank you very much for your appreciation. I would like to ask Mr. Kondratiev and Mr. Kalmychek to provide their short comments. Well, to be brief, I would like just to answer the questions. Quite often, food products and agricultural products are our priority, and therefore, Russian market already knows that food product from Iran have very good quality, and therefore I believe that customs clearance and exemption of any customs fees would facilitate further development in this regard. We are aspiring to develop this direction in the future. This is more like a competence of the Ministry of Trade and Industry of the Russian Federation. On our behalf, we support different business missions, and we see quite often that the delegation of Iran frequently participates in our dedicated events like the Food Expo, so as to familiarize with Russian products as well. So therefore, I would like to say that on some very common greenfield level, I see that there is a huge excitement and fascination about the food manufactured in Iran, in Russia. Therefore, I believe that we should not be pursuing some short-term revenues we should rely on long-term relations and disembark from short-term perceptions in favor of long-term perceptions. So we should stay confident because, yes, indeed, the market is there and the market would be happy to acquire a healthy and high-quality product. Thank you. Well, I can say the same, Mr. Koropchenko. Yes, I can say the same. We are very much excited about having export from Iran because there is a huge disbalance in export-import share and composition. So we would like to have products, food products exported to Russia from Iran, and in response, we would be happy to export our products to Iran as well, so that to minimize the logistics costs. I'm ready to provide whatever assistance you need regarding daily consumption products and all the positions that are available. So we are ready for dialogue, and we are going to keep on. Dear friends, thank you so much. I would like to extend my gratitude to our distinguished speakers, His Excellency Deputy Minister, His Excellency Deputy Prime Minister, His Excellency Ambassador, Mr. Agayev, Mr.